All right, ladies and gentlemen of D-Class personnel, go ahead and have a seat. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Commander. And I'm going to be briefing you on the SCP that you're about to go study out in the field, so pay attention. What we're looking at today, SCP-2963, Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-2963 is to be kept in 2 connected standard humanoid containment cells. Humidity of these cells is to be kept at 58%. SCP-2963-5 is to be fed once per day with liquid nutrient solution. Description: SCP-2963 refers to 7 distinct entities that formerly comprised D-3553-3, a D-Class individual previously used by researchers assigned to SCP under supervision of Dr. Macaulay. D-3553-3 was converted into its current state during a failed containment attempt of SCP, which also resulted in the deaths of 2 additional D-Class and 4 containment personnel. Each entity grows and functions as a non-anomalous organ system would. SCP-2963 1, 2, 3, and 6 are able to speak in some capacity despite lacking the necessary anatomy to do so. For the records of such communications, these are in sample interview logs. This is item SCP-2963-1, description: nervous system. Notes: most communicative instance possesses personality very similar to D-3553-3's original personality, able to locomote by pulling itself along horizontal surfaces, despite lacking necessary cell structure to do so. All nerve structures are intact and functional. Item SCP-2963-2, description: skeletal system. Notes: communicates very rarely but appears to possess intellect on par with SCP-2963-1 and 3. Bones are held together in form of human skeleton by unknown force. Item SCP-2963-3, description: muscular system. Notes: possesses intellect on par with SCP-2963-1 and 2, communicates often. SCP-2963-3 is most prone to hostility and violence if provoked and should be treated with caution. SCP-2963-3 typically maintains humanoid form but is capable of moving as an amorphous mass. Item SCP-2963-4, description: cardiovascular and respiratory systems. Notes: moves in a similar fashion to SCP-2963-1, though it is able to scale sheer vertical surfaces. If SCP-2963-4 is deprived of oxygen, all 7 SCP-2963 entities will begin to suffocate. Item SCP-2963-5, description: digestive, renal, and excretory system. Notes: SCP-2963-5 does not move and is not believed to be self-aware. Entity must be fed a liquid nutrient solution in order to maintain entirety of SCP-2963. All waste produced by SCP-2963 is excreted by SCP-2963-5. Item SCP-2963-6, description: integumentary system. Notes: SCP-2963-6 is capable of communication, though does so rarely. Entity floats approximately 1 meter above the ground by unknown means and is capable of maneuvering through very small gaps. SCP-2963's containment chamber has been made airtight as a precaution. Item SCP-2963-7, description: reproductive, endocrine, and immune systems. Notes: entity moves similarly to terrestrial gastropods with organs forming a foot to pull the instance forward. Now, these are sample interview transcripts with SCP-2963-1, 2, 3, and 6. This one here is interview SCP-2963-1 through 4. Forward. At time of interview, SCP-2963 had been in containment for 2 months. Interview conducted by Dr. McGann, senior researcher assigned to SCP-2963, formerly assigned to SCP and thus familiar with SCP-2963. Begin log. Dr. McGann: hello again, how are you this morning? -1. Well, I still look like overcooked spaghetti and share a room with my own intestines, so the usual. McGann: right, we have a few more questions for you today if you don't mind. Dash 1. Fire away. McGann. How much can you remember of your life prior to your current state? Dash 1. You mean back when I was in one piece? All of it. Childhood, growing up, drug charges, other charges, death row, coming here, getting used like a lab rat, and McGann. And what? Dash 1. And the kid. The Bender kid. McGann. You mean... Dash 1. Yeah. Mark, that was his name. McGann. Right. How much do you remember of your time assigned to the team? Dash 1. A lot. They used us to deal with the kid. I guess they were afraid of him. But the other Ds didn't talk much, but I got to know him pretty well. I liked him. Good kid. McGann. Until he tore your organs apart. Dash 1. He was scared. What's a kid supposed to do when armed goons come after him? McGann. They typically cry. He leveled a building. Dash 1. An empty building. He wouldn't have done it if there were people there. McGann. He killed 6 and did this to you. Dash 1. Because they were holding a gun to his head. He was scared. He was just a kid. He didn't know what he was doing. McGann. Right. I think we can end here for now. Thank you for your cooperation. End log. This is interview SCP-2963-3-5. Forward. Interview conducted by Dr. McGann. SCP-2963 had been in containment for 4 months. Interview conducted through plexiglass plate due to SCP-2963-3's history of violence. Begin log. McGann. Good afternoon, 3-3. Aaron, don't use the number. I'm not a D anymore. McGann. No. Just a SCP-2963-3. 3. Use my damn name. You motherfuckers are the reason I got this way. McGann. No, that would be SC-3. It's not the kid's fault. You can't be mad at a bomb for going off, especially if you planted it. McGann. Quaint. We have a few more questions for you, if you'll cooperate. 3. Fire away. McGann. Well, as you know, we've determined that D-3553-3's original personality was fragmented by the incident that resulted in your creation. Dash 3. That's what you keep saying. Yeah, I don't buy it. I'm still me. McGann. Partially. As far as we could tell, it's Dash 1 who got D-3553-3's original personality. You're close, but you display markedly higher aggression. Host Dash 3. Maybe I'm aggressive because I'm a fucking meat puppet. Because you sons of bitches made me this way. Because that judge had it in for me. Because the last 6 fucking years have been nothing but tests and labor in the inside of a cell. Because you killed the fucking kid. Because you... McGann. Enough. Dash 3. SCP-2963-3 throws itself at the glass attempting to break through. During this, Dash 3 screams unintelligibly. McGann. Right, I think that'll be it for today then. Thank you for your cooperation. End log. Interview SCP-2963-2-2. Forward. Interview conducted by Dr. McGann. SCP-2963 had been in containment for 5 months. SCP-2963-2 requested an interview. Request was granted as this was the only second attempt at communication Dash 2 has made thus far. Begin log. McGann. Good evening. Can I ask why you've asked for this interview? Dash 2. I have information. McGann. Okay. Did you not have this information when we tried to interview you previously? Dash 2. Yes. McGann. Why didn't you tell us before? Dash 2. I did not think it relevant. McGann. Okay. What do you have to tell us? Dash 2. I do not know who we are. McGann. We? You mean the rest of you? Dash 2. Yes. The brain knows. The muscle knows. I do not. The skin does not. The others do not know enough to know anything. McGann. Do you mean you possess a separate memory from Dash 1 and Dash 3? Dash 2. I do not remember living as the person we are. McGann. So your memories start after separation? Dash 2. No. McGann. What? What do you remember? Dash 2. I remember a life. A different life. The details are faded. I think it was a place far away. McGann. And you believe you and Dash 6 came from this other person? Dash 2. No, I did. The skin is something else, from somewhere else, a shaper of flesh, a god-eater. McGann, I see. Do you have any idea why you were chosen for this? How you were pulled into D-3553-3 skeleton? -2. I believe we are tangent to this world. When the child was killed, it released an enormous amount of energy that tore through such barriers and brought us here. McGann, well, that's a lot of information to process. Thank you for coming to us with this. -2, you're welcome. End log. Note, research into the possible origins of SCP-2963-2's and -6's consciousness is ongoing. Now, this is interview SCP-2963-6. This is restricted to personnel with level 3 or higher clearance, so I have temporarily boosted you guys to level 3 just so you can hear this. I'm a big proponent of you knowing as much as you absolutely can without me getting my fucking walking paper. So here it is. Forward. Interview conducted by Dr. McGann the day after interview SCP-2963-2-2. Begin log. McGann. Hello, -6. -6, please call me Aaron. McGann. Yes. Your name, right? -6. Yes. McGann. Right. Tell me, Aaron. How much do you remember of your life before this? -6. I've told your people I do not remember much. McGann. Right. Just double checking. What about Mark? -6. Who? McGann. Mark. The kid? -6. I'm sorry, I don't recall having any children. McGann. SCP-6. Yes, the reality bender. McGann. Yes, do you have any idea why I requested this interview? -6. No. Is there something wrong? McGann. Well, it's just that yesterday we spoke to -2 and he -6. What did it say? McGann. He told us that you aren't D-3553-3. At this point, SCP-2963-6 remains silent. McGann. Well, who are you? -6. I am Aaron Doer McGann. No, who are you really? SCP-2963-6 remains silent for approximately 30 seconds. -6. This is my ordeal. It is as the Ozarmach said. I have stepped beyond the flow of dreams. I've entered this realm on my crawl towards apotheosis. I've been thrust into this lowly form so that I must claw my way toward godhood. McGann. I don't. What are you talking about? -6. I am Zend-Hayorath, flayer of lovers, render of suffering skin, and I've been brought here so that, redacted, end log. Note, it is currently believed that during the incident that created SCP-2963, SCP pulled desperate consciousness from sources other than D-3553-3 and somehow pushed them into SCP-2963-2 and -6. Information regarding -6 has been forwarded to the Para-Religion Division. Neither -2 or -6 have been cooperative for further interviews. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was SCP-2963, dismissed.